Hey everybody out there, wherever you are, we're in the Los Angeles Civil Rights Association. And we're going to listen to the introduction song.
So we've come to cast this debt, a debt that will give us upon demand the riches of freedom and the security of justice. We have also come to this hallowed spot to remind America of the fierce urgency of now. Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. Now is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice. Now is the time. From the twin planets of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood, now is the time. There are those who are asking the devotees of civil rights, when will you be satisfied? We can never be satisfied as long as the Negro is the victim of the unspeakable horror of police brutality.
Well, good afternoon everybody around the world, to everyone in the United States of America and to everyone abroad, whether you're in Chicago, Detroit, New York, Texas, Alabama, Atlanta, wherever you are, South Carolina, North Carolina, whether you're in Hawaii, whether you're in Los Angeles, California, or Inglewood, California, wherever you are, Moreno Valley, Riverside, hello, hello, hello. And if you are in Austria, Auckland, if you're in the UK, in Devon, if you're in Australia, if you're in North Korea, South Korea, if you're in Egypt, wherever you are in the world right now, hello. China, Japan, wherever you are, God bless you. You're on the Los Angeles Civil Rights Association Speaks Out, and we always talk about civil, constitutional, human, and amendment rights. That's right, your rights. That's what we talk about on the show. Advocate, right?
Yes.
You advocate for youth.
Yes, sir.
And you brought one of the youth on the show with you today.
Yes, sir.
And could you please introduce yourself to everybody?
Anthony Bennett.
Anthony Bennett. All right, can I get a big handshake, Anthony? On the show today, we're going to talk about a lot of things, you guys. And if we don't... well, here's a phone call coming in right now. This is one of our special guests, Michael Elison Lewis. Is this Michael Elison Lewis?
Lewis, how are you doing today, Eddie?
I'm doing fine, Michael. It's so good to hear your voice. How's everything going?
Everything is going very well. We live in Los Angeles.
Yes, we do.
Security and stability. And contractors enabling the bill stop home foreclosure, stops the loan inflation and student loan debt forgiveness. And we need a commitment to tread our youth. All the vacant houses used to be an apprenticeship training programs. Place would replace both in the vein and become weatherizers and blazers and so we have a crisis today. Unemployment figure this week. The whites about 8.7% of the blacks, 2 to 3 times the national average. And so we need some focused commitment as our goals for jobs and job training and education for all and adults who are immigration for our children and safety.
Well, now, you know, Reverend Jesse Jackson, we want to thank you for coming on our show via the telephone. But I have one question that I'd like to ask you. It's been a heated judicial system here lately, and it hasn't been in favor of some of the cases that face African Americans around the United States here. There's one particular case in particular which has been magnified horrendously, and it's the wrongful death of Mr. Michael Joseph Jackson. Do you have anything that you could comment about that case and how you think it might turn out with Dr. Conrad Murray being the suspect in the case? Do you think that there's good justice?
I I cannot add anything that debate. And since we're now in the judicial process, let's be patient. The bishop, suffice to say, we love Michael very much in his life. We miss him very much in his death. His music will everything. A song and dance will live on. We thank God that Michael Jackson came our way.
Now, I know that you will be at the Congressional Black Caucus, and I look forward to seeing you there. I look forward to going to the retirement for Congresswoman Diane Watson, and I'm sure all the people from Congress and will be there, and it should be one of the most uplifting Congressional Black Caucuses that's been held since last year. What do you think?
Indeed, I think you're right. So, God bless you and thank you and keep on the line.
God bless you too, Reverend Jesse Jackson. And there's a young man on the show. He wants to say hello to you.
Hello. Hello.
Mr. Jackson's gone. Let's give a hand for Reverend Jesse Jackson. Rainbow Push Coalition. And of course, you know, Reverend Jesse Jackson's worked on so many different things. I can't even name them all. But so far we've had 3 extremely special guests on the show that are making change in the civil rights arena. Of course, the church is always working on civil rights, especially the AME Church, because it's the African Methodist Episcopal Church, which was founded by Biddy Mason and Richard Allen, who actually was not accepted they were in a church, but they had to sit all the way in the back, up at the top, and they couldn't hear. So they left the church and they started their own church. And now if you go around the world, AME churches around the entire world. Alabama, wherever you name it, even in Jamaica, there's an AME church. So I just really want to thank our special guest, Mr. Michael Liberty, Mr. Michael Ellison Lewis, who's on the executive board of First AME Church, our pastor John Hunter and Denise Williams, and then we want to thank none other than Reverend Jesse Jackson, who's been out there walking the pavement for many, many years. And young man, it's history. You were here listening to Reverend Jesse Jackson on the phone, and guess what? Your job in the future, you will be working for civil rights in some way. I do civil rights right now, working with the different clients. As you see here, a stack of files here, these are all clients. And this is civil rights work that we're doing now to help people with their civil, constitutional, human, and amendment rights. So let's clap it up for Jesse Jackson. Now, we have another special guest on the show, and then we're going to go into our Michael Jackson segment, which we do every show. We're going to update you on some things. We're going to show some pictures. But you know what? I didn't do my quick news. Before we get to our, let's do some quick news real quick. Do we have the guy, did you find about Beck, the guy who did the thing at the White House?
Yes.
Do you have his picture up there?
Yeah.
Okay, what's his full name? Is it Kim Beck? Whatever it is, Beck. Okay.
I didn't get his full name.
Beck is the guy. He's the guy who decided with the Tea Party to on the day of the I Have a Dream speech, the historical day. He went to the White House and members of the Republican Party to come out and kind of protest the civil rights movement. And I thought that was really disrespectful. We have to expect these type of things to continue to happen. It's unfortunate that even to this day, racism is still alive and well. Well, Mr. Beck called Obama a racist. And then he came back the next day and he apologized for saying it. But at the time that he said it, he didn't apologize then, so the next day apology must have came from the powers that be that said, that doesn't look so good, that you're disrespecting the president, our president, your president of the United States of America. When are we ever going to get over color? When are we ever going to get over ethnicity, race, creed, religion? Why can't we just all get along like Rodney King said? Can't we all just get along? You know what I mean, young man? Sure. You want to be able to go to school wherever you want to go to school, right? Yes. And it doesn't matter if you're black or white. Michael Jackson said that. He said, if you're thinking about being with me, it doesn't matter if you're black or white. Why can't we all think like that? Why can't we all just get along? I don't understand why Mr. Beck had to choose the day that Dr. King did the civil rights speech at the White House on the lawn, and he had to choose that day to come and do what he wanted to do to prove to the world what? Sarah Palin was there, And me personally, Sarah Palin is a human being, but I don't think she's ever going to make president of the United States of America. That's just my opinion. I want to be honest with you. Do we have so much for Mr. Beck? Good luck, Mr. Beck, wherever you are. And what you did was okay, but do we have a picture of Al Sharpton?
Yes.
Let's pull up Al Sharpton. The same day that Mr. Beck was on one side of town doing whatever he was doing, Al Sharpton brought together a lot of people to protest what Mr. Beck did. Does it ever stop? No, it doesn't. It's like a donut. It's like a tire. It goes around and around. So what happened was that day, Mr. Beck went out and said and did what he had to do. And the thing that got to me about this whole thing, he tried to use God. Now, if you're going to use God, and you're going to say that you don't want to sit in the same restaurant with certain people, or you want to go back to carrying a gun on your hip for whatever reason, then what does God have to do with that? I don't understand that. Does God have anything to do with not eating in the same restaurant because of someone's race, creed, color, or religion? I'm praying every day that we can get over racism. That's one of the biggest problems in America. That is the worst disease I've ever seen in my life, racism. But only in America. You don't get that when you go to other countries. They don't even care. They accept you for who you are, and they love you for who you are, and it's okay. But once you step your foot into America, oh my gosh, everything just goes whatever it does. It just racism. We need to shut it down completely. Al Sharpton gave a really great speech, and he also answered the call that why was this necessary to do this on the same day that Dr. Martin Luther King did the I Have a Dream speech. So I just want to leave you all with that we're still dealing with civil rights issues every day. We're still fighting for our rights, whether it's in the judicial system, whether it's the right to own a business or to live in a certain area or to make a certain amount of money or just to be who you are, or a right to marry who you want to marry or to be who you want to be. Now, there are some things that we do have to be careful of when we're fighting for our civil rights. But it says in the Constitution that we all have a right to a freedom of speech, right? So that's why I'm not condemning Mr. Beck. What I'm condemning that Mr. Beck did was he chose the wrong date to do it, which he has a right to do that too, because it was done. And the Tea Party financed him. And Rand Paul is in the Tea Party, and the Tea Party practices racism. So I'm not saying that everybody's racist in the Tea Party, but wow, look at some of these things that they've said and done, and then came back on TV the next day and apologized. Even Rand Paul did that. He did the same thing. So I'm just saying we got to be careful. Now let's just take a look at. Do we have pictures of the Congressional Black Caucus?
Yes.
Okay, September the 15th through the 18th, you should be in Washington, D.C. The Congressional Black Caucus will be there, and it will be a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful event. And all the events that are there, if you don't know, go on the website, go to WashingtonDC.org, and you can probably go on Google and type in Congressional Black Caucus, and you'll find out all the information, like Senator Kern Price, Congresswoman Diane Watson, she's retiring, you know that. Congresswoman Maxine Waters from Texas, Congresswoman Sheila, and just so many people. Can you just flash the pictures of all the people with the Congressional Black Caucus and all the senators and all the Congress people and all that? Well, I will be there in Washington, D.C., and some other people will be there in Washington, D.C., and we'll talk about that a little bit later. And do we have a picture of Leimert Park?
Yes.
Okay, let's pull up Leimert Park. Are we there yet?
Yeah.
Okay, Leimert Park is having this weekend, the Labor Day weekend, a great jazz festival. They do this every year in Leimert Park. They have a wonderful jazz festival, and guess how much it is? It's free. Now I'm talking to the people that live in Los Angeles, California, that's in the vicinity right now. If you want to go somewhere and it's free, they have hot dogs, barbecue ribs, potato salad, what you need.